welcome back again to the Unlearning Curve. My name is Stuart Delony. Joining me is Karl the Great, and also, last but not least, JD Forehand from halfway across the globe.
The one and
joining
only.
us here. And yeah, so we're in our fourth session. As we do this, we sit down for several hours and crank these babies out. So this is kind of our last one. What time is it where you're at on peak watch?
12:35.
9:30.
12:35, and that's PM, people. He is up past his bedtime.
Well, it's AM actually.
Oh, AM, sorry.
It is partially his fault, though.
We're all tired. We're all tired. You guys are
We
tired
are all
this
tired.
morning. I'm tired
We've been
because
talking
it's
too
the
much.
nighttime.
We're absorbing your tiredness somehow. But yes, we're in our fourth session, which is usually our kind of potluck and see whatever the hell happens. And it gets a little crazy in that session. And we are definitely going to be going deeper and crazier as we hop into this, because the main topic of this session is that the rapture is happening, folks. The rapture is happening. It's happening January the 13th, 2026. And it's been said here, it's prophesied, it's going to happen and we really are here wanting you guys to be ready for when shit goes down.
I wish we'd all been ready.
So we're going to be talking about my upcoming book, The Tribulation Survival Guide, which is a spoof on end times culture that reads kind of like a real-time survival handbook, but a little bit part jokes, part critique, and all therapy for anyone who has survived evangelical fear-mongering.
It's 100% Stuart Delony. Pure
Definitely
Stuart
is.
Delony.
It is. The paternity test came back from the book, and it is mine.
It is yours. It's your baby.
It is. I'm starting paying child support.
You are the father. It
So, yeah,
is
we're
like,
yeah.
It is very good because it gives you, I mean, I think a lot of people, like, you should probably maybe read through Revelations first. I don't know. That's a kind of a big homework assignment, but like me kind of like reading through a little bit of it and then looking through that, like you're like, because each chapter, right, starts with almost like a message from God, right?
Yeah, it was 10 visions over 10 nights I received, brother.
Yeah.
And then it's so good. I don't want to. We can keep going. I'm sorry, but like it's I don't know what else to say about it, but like from the Revelations enthusiast in me and also the prepper enthusiast in me, which I'm not like necessarily either of those things, but like I do have like an interest in them. I think they're fascinating cultures.
In your DNA.
It's perfect. It's perfect. I mean, yeah, I'm a good
He's
old boy
prepper
from,
curious. Just a little prepper
Texas
curious.
/ the Midwest, so it's it speaks to my heart.
It does.
What's your history, Stuart, with apocalyptic literature and this one in particular?
How do we come to this
How do we
place?
get here? Yeah.
The worst answer I have when people ask me that is I did that because I was avoiding editing another book I have, and it kind of led me down this road. But a lot of it was, I remember we've talked about the fact that I think I was at one moment, once I was frocked, and then now I was defrocked. So I'm frockless. But I remember during like the time when I was having to go through like my lifetime ordination process, and they were asking questions, and they're like, well, is there any like scripture that you disagree with? And I'm really good at not answering the question, kind of. And
Like Trump, it's a good question. That's a great question.
And so I was like, well, I don't know about a verse, but I could do without the entire book of Revelation. And then you have a bunch of people that are on this committee just being like, I'm sorry, what? And like one of them got angry at me as well too, and I was like, well, I mean, if you think about it, which this does fit into what we've been talking about in these last couple of sessions, I was like, it's one of those things to me that was one of the biggest distractions to just doing the simple work of Christ. It ends up being like that part of the Bible that's like X-Files and interesting stuff that we can either like go like look into it, and it points us away from reality, and it points us away from everything that's going on and makes us obsessed with the hereafter. It makes us obsessed with like worrying about things that are going to happen, and it ignores exactly what the book of Revelation actually is.
Well, and
was
to
really
your
just
point,
speaking
Stuart,
out about the time.
It's a gamble that you can take on. I don't have to do anything because it's too late. Yeah, again, wish I had time to change my mind, but it's too late. Like I'm here now, so I guess I got to hoof it, and it's over.
Yeah.
I had a guy in my church that was saved, right on Easter. And he was a brother of a guy that we'd been helping out get over alcoholism and so on. And he very quickly got interested with another guy in Revelations and end time theology. And when we said, let's start some home Bible studies, he started one. And in my estimation, it's still going on. I think it's still going on, and it's still just about end times. And that's all it is. And he is the most miserable person to be around that I've ever experienced in my life. He seriously, it's one guy who I just hope I never see again. Really, not really, but kind of, right? And because he's just so into that, so he's real legalistic, he's real narcissistic, he's real right wing,
Here's the thing: is there's nothing legalistic about the fucking about Revelation. You've misread it. It's nonsense. It's they have literature. 17 eyes and 14 fucking tails and 19 wings. Like it's the most inane. You can read anything into this you want. Like that is the I guess like the I don't know select like the minutia of like Christianity. It's just like it's so perfect for them because it's just I wonder. I don't know. I guess I would have to psychoanalyze myself, but I think that like what Stuart was talking about earlier. Is I think there's a part of that is tantalizing to Christians, and I think that's why I liked it. Is because it was something that let me escape the like you need to give up all your things, and also like that you just have to sacrifice your life to like this monotony of like I got to be a fucking homeless beggar for the rest of my life, whatever. Like no, this is sick. Like people are getting their heads cut off, and like there's demons and fucking the rivers are turning blood red.
Of blood.
Like, exactly. It's like it's fun. It's an action movie. And that's why I liked it. Because I was a 12-year-old fucking kid. There's no excuse for 35-year-old people that are just like, I gotta really get in it. Sorry, Stuart.
No fascination with locusts and frogs and stuff that aren't very menacing to me, but maybe I don't have biblical locusts.
But then it gets but see, I feel like it's also leans totally into the vein which someone had mentioned earlier. I think it was JD. Like this leads into like conspiracy theory 101. Which is so much, and it's kind of like opposite. Like when you say like we typically say like throw enough shit against the wall and see what sticks. I feel like with Revelation, it's the opposite. You can almost throw anything against it and it'll stick.
Exactly.
Conspiracies
and whatever because else. It's so random. It's so broad. Like you have like I'm sorry to like cut you off, but like I watch a lot of Alex Jones, and not because I'm a fan, but just because it's interesting to me. But like. You'll have these kind of people who will interpret these things. Oh, there's like this, like, I would have to look up exact verses, but like, blah, blah, blah. You can apply it to anything. You apply it to 9/11, whatever. Like there are wars and rumors of wars. Like there's always wars. Like, but here's the thing. This is my thing that disproves Revelations. The world is getting more peaceful. The world is getting more peaceful. You look at murders, violence, war, like overall, it's not good. We're still not doing good as a human society, but overall in terms of murder, like we're pretty much at our lowest rate, especially in places like the United States. It is better than it's ever been, demonstrably. And again, not to say that we don't have a long way to go, but it does say that like
not because of anything a politician's done, not because of politicians, maybe because religion is also dying. Maybe that's helping. In my wildest, can I ask a question, Stuart?
Yeah.
So where are you kind of now? I know most progressive stance nowadays is that Revelation was written about the first century in Rome. So where are you kind of at now? I mean, we used to just argue over pre-trib, post-trib, amillennial, blah blah blah, all these different ways, and people would just shift around to different ones and try to prove that they were right.
Yeah.
Where are you at now? I mean, it doesn't matter. And
the one I've latched onto this for years. I heard an old Southern pastor that I know, his thing was, they'd ask you, are you pre-trib, post-trib? He's like, well, I'm just a pan-theorist because it's all going to pan out in the end. It was just one of those where it's just like, it doesn't fucking matter.
Another escapism clause.
I'm fine. I don't have to worry about
it. Yeah, I mean, I'm more in the place of just trying to survive and not let the apocalypse happen right now by our own hand. Like, let's not make hell happen on earth by just being assholes and dicks and overly militarized and all these other kind of things. Like I would lean towards like I care more about that than worrying about how it's all going to work.
Build some locust-free tents or some.
A
I
bunch of
think
people just
also
waiting around. Where's Jesus? He's coming back, right, peeps? Where is he?
I think one of my questions though, like, or my issues, like, I don't know, either way, but it goes back to what like Dad was saying was, it's like there was like, it felt like when I was a kid, there was so much debate about, are you post-trib, pre-trib, like, but that seems to have like just gone away, and everyone just doesn't understand it or doesn't even think about it anymore. I don't know. Maybe it's still going on, and maybe it's because I've like extracted myself from the debate, but
I think some of it, I think if we're talking like culturally, because also at this, like we've seen like this meshing of kind of like the the crazy charismatics and Pentecostals, and somehow like have been like joined the tent with normal like Baptists as well too, like under the conservative tent. And I know like in the past, like Baptists, like growing up, they would mock charismatics, and they would just talk about how insane and how crazy they are. But somehow like that tent has like, they've joined ideas a bit too. And I still think they will probably like talk about each other behind the scenes. But I think with that meshing and melding, I feel like it's some of like, it's been a weird theological love child too that's kind of happened to where it's mainly just, I think, Antichrist, and then also culturally Left Behind did a bunch of work too.
I think a couple of things people ignore when they start to attach this to the end of their scriptures is that we talked about the two Johns, the John and the John and First John, and maybe those are the same person, and maybe they're even the same as this person who claims to have written it from the Isle of Patmos, which is the equivalent of Australia when everybody sent their criminals there, and so he might have been crazy, he might have been mentally ill. I hate to use that word flippantly, but just so that's who's writing it. And what we ignore greatly also, I used to preach, when I had to preach Revelations, I would get stuck in the first chapter or two where it talks about the churches. It's obviously addressed to the seven churches or so that were there at that time in the first century. And it was probably written in 90 AD or something like 90 CE, and just what was going on at the time. And really it was
but even in the
rebuke of
first
the
chapter,
churches. Yeah, go ahead.
even in the first chapter, sorry to like interrupt a little bit, and I want you to continue, but it like, even in the first chapter, Christians consistently like avert their gaze, because even in the first chapter it talks about the angel with his like his right hand had 7 stars, and out of his mouth came a sharp 2-edged sword. Like, what the fuck does that mean? Like, that's nonsense. It doesn't mean like
but God's ways are not our ways. So
obviously
there's deep,
the seven
deep
churches,
meaning.
and obviously the seven churches in the
well, it's also where the
Bible is
idea
the
of the
two-edged
666
sword that
comes
wasn't
out,
written
but
yet.
like, but even like, this is I'm getting on a side tangent, but like the 666 thing, that's like such a, you know, a big hubbub about like in the Christian doctrine. Like, even I remember reading in like probably my NIV translation, it would be like 666, and then it would have a little asterisk, and then you look at the bottom in the footnotes, which no one ever fucking looks at, but like I did as a fucking 12-year-old, and I was like, oh, it says 666 or 616. I was like, why are people not scared of 616? Oh, maybe it's because it's just like
Or
666 is more scary,
6
and like
7.
it's like a triple, like, but it's okay, yeah, but that's another line in the thing, is if I'm just like, okay, well, you guys aren't serious about this because you're not really into the numerology.
Not me.
No, I just looked something else up too. Like in our there is no. Oh, this is so stupid about 666. There is no area code that is 666 in America. We have area codes for numbers below and above, but not that one.
Here's what I'll tell you.
Nobody wants to have it.
In Taiwan, it's so funny because 666 means, if you translate it, it's Leo Leo Leo, which is Leo is just 6. But if you say Leo Leo Leo, it's like, oh, it's like cool, whatever. But it's like also Leo Leo Leo, because when we count, we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, or 10 is like this, but anyway. So, but anyway, Leo Leo Leo. But it's just like it's such a like a cultural thing. It's not based on anything. And again, it could be 666, could be 616. Like, if you read the footnotes, it doesn't say like it's definitely 666. But again, back to your earlier point, Stuart, is that it also allows for so much like numerology and interpretation. And I've heard people be like, oh, well, if you add this verse plus this verse plus this verse, but then you add 666, but then it's just like, okay, well, if I add 2 plus 4 plus 6 plus, I got 17 fucking like tissue papers in here. Plus, if I add like the number of Q-tips that I have in this fucking thing, I don't know why I have so much nonsense on my table. But if I add all those things together, it equals 432. Mark must be the mark of the beast. Like, nonsense.
Yeah.
Under like the summer blood red moon, that means it's going to all come to pass within
creates a shadow,
5 months,
which looks like Beelzebub, aka a bunch of other names that we've used from like ancient Mesopotamian gods that now we've created to mean Satan.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense.
Stuart,
if you don't look at any of the history.
Distractions are always fun.
You use humor effectively all the time. I think, you know, and I've heard your origin story, why you use that. But in this, you're trying to use satire. You're using satire. What's going on in your mind when you start?
Why satire?
When you started laying this out and producing something that will help somebody else. What's going through your mind? What do you hope for? What were you thinking? What were you thinking?
Tell us.
I was thinking that somehow like naming the nonsense that we're living in right now and naming some of the nonsense that we've been like the fear-based stuff that we've had shoved down our throats for so many years. Sometimes that in itself is healing and funny to just put a name to some of just this absurdity, because it's absurd. And that's, I guess the point of this being a satire is that the whole thing is absurd. Mm-hmm. And so I guess it was just me like leaning in on the absurdity of all of it. Like, I was trying to, you know, if Revelation is taken on things at like at an 11, I was trying to meet that same weirdness, and also point out a bunch of other shit within the church that's in there as well too.
So you've written several things lately about the fool, the clown, the jester, you know, that archetype. And how does that come in? Can you explain that too?
With writing this, I mean, some of this is it's definitely punching up in the book. I mean, towards power. And I think some of it is laughter is a way to be able to handle and deal with like authoritarian structures, whether they be churches or whether they be governments. And I think that being able to just lean in on the absurdity and let's be honest, like when I say absurdity, sometimes it's just abject, ridiculous stupidity in this, where there's so many situations that are just so stupid that are happening nowadays.
And there are so many situations in Revelations that are so fucking stupid because if you parse them out, they don't make sense. For example, this is a random verse that I'll pull out from Revelation. Revelation 69. They were seared by the intense heat and they cursed the name of God who had control over these plagues, but they refused to repent and glorify him. Okay, so they refused. I entered the soldering iron into their genitalia and they refused to worship me. What pieces of shit, right? Like, what? Like, I decided to torture someone and so they were mad at me. What a bastard. Like, if you read it contextually, like, it falls apart.
It's sadistic,
It is. It's like a torture novel, which again, as a 12-year-old, fucking sick. It's so cool to read. But it doesn't paint a loving God. It doesn't reflect most of the Bible, to kind of Dad's point earlier. It's kind of like this random add-on that just like starts to go like LSD. Like, again,
it's like a bad trip.
I'm not a big fan of people being like, oh, well, like this, like using psychedelics to explain history because like that gets like a little bit Joe Rogan-y. But like for Revelations, like fair. If John, aka maybe Joe Rogan, how do we know it's not him in a past life? Could be, right? But maybe Joe Rogan wrote Revelations. Whoever did it was definitely fucking tripping balls. Like that shit is crazy. It's insane. But
some of that insanity too. But it's amazing what people have latched onto in the insanity. You know, I mean, think about like people. I've just being raised and hearing about. Oh, I'm gonna have a mansion in heaven. Ooh, my mansion's gonna be great. For what the Lord's gonna give to me. You know, and those kind of things. And you're kind of like, what? It always boggled my mind of being like, where Christ is like telling people like, be like self-sacrificial, like lay down your life for others, because you're gonna get a fucking mansion. You know, I feel like we ended up doing some sort of a
But even that, like I remember, even in
it's like
like
glory
in
on
church,
layaway.
Dad, like absolutely, it's this kind of layaway program, but it's also that like you're always trying to like switch them back and forth, right? It's never permanent because I remember it would be like, well, you'll get all these crowns in the jewel, right? You'll get all these crowns, you'll get all these jewels, whatever. But it's not for you. You'll give them to when you meet Saint Peter and then you meet Jesus, like you'll give them to him. Well, it's like, well, why do I need them anyway? And also,
Mhm.
what does God have?
What
What does
kind of
God have
God
against
needs them?
jewels? Who?
Yeah.
Yeah. What does God care about gold? Why does that make a difference? Like the only reason that's necessary is because it's beautiful or because whatever. Like it's ridiculous when you start to think about it in terms of like, does God need an economy? And if you think so, how impotent is your God? I don't
Right.
know. If I had an all-knowing, all-powerful being, he wouldn't need an economy. We would just
He
whatever we
wouldn't have
needed,
to.
we would
He
just
wouldn't have
create,
to
right?
sear my testicles, and he wouldn't have to.
Unless
Or
I ask nicely.
yeah, unless that's what
Exactly.
I
If I
like.
wanted it, that's a different thing. But again, he doesn't have to
Testicle
kink shame
searing
me about it.
Tuesdays.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
and it's just. I mean, I think I've wrote about that a lot. That it's the good father. It's
About
not a good
testicle searing.
no. It's
I'm
not
the
a good.
foremost expert.
It's not a good father that's narcissistic and needs constant praise.
Yeah.
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 No good being seeks constant praise. I don't. It's my
Yeah.
assumption. It's my belief, but that's my belief that you're not a good father. You know, I wanted Jade, so I wrote about this. I provided things for JD. I tried to get him out of situations only once or twice.
My
Did I
crack
really
addiction.
have to do that? Things I knew about. But also, I gave him things that he didn't deserve. I helped him learn how to earn and those kind of things. And there were things I did for him. And I wanted him to maybe say thank you, but not 10 times a day. I wanted him to be grateful, but not excessively. And
And,
I
no, and,
didn't,
and,
I
and
certainly didn't want him to worship me.
that's what I was gonna say. Is you're putting that mildly because worship is a different thing. There's a thing of I want you to say thank you. That's not a big thing. That's a social politeness, right?
But if you
And
said it
saying
twice, then I'm like, that's excessive. Stop saying thank you.
But no, Father, I really, really love you, Father.
yeah,
I
no,
want to
but
praise you all day long, Father. I mean,
if
you'd
you
be
woke
like,
up
what the
if
fuck
you
is
woke up in the
happening?
morning and you were like I'm going out today and you were like, hey, I was like, oh, thank you for getting that Xbox for me or like whatever, like helping me pay for half of my Xbox. And you were like, oh, it's fine. And then I was like, oh, I haven't been deferential enough. And so the next day I was like, oh, where's my dad? And you weren't there because you woke up, you went out to take a trip with mom or something. And I was just like I just call you on the phone and leave a voice message. Hallowed out my Father who art in heaven. Like that would hopefully make you uncomfortable.
Yeah. Laura,
It's
this
gross.
weekend thing that I talked about before, Laura had a speaking engagement. She did really well, but we struggled some, because her blood pressure got high and some things like that. And afterwards, she said, I'm really thankful that you were here with me during this weekend. I appreciate that. And I'm like, I finally did it right. I finally listened and paid attention and helped. But she said it again. And about the third time that she said it, I'm like, okay, I got it. I got it. I appreciate that. But any more is just unnecessary. But if I think I should get all of that praise and that she should keep doing it and she should give up everything to follow me, worship me.
Yeah.
I would much rather my wife at times say, you're screwing up, man. You got to get it. You got to do better than this. And even if I did everything right, I don't need constant praise. If I do, I'm a narcissist. I'm a shit for human being. If I demand that everybody around me worship me, even if I'm really good, even if I'm the best human in the United States, it would still be narcissistic to demand worship.
I mean, it ends up feeling like a Trump cabinet meeting where you have them like all just sitting around like, oh, you're so wonderful.
You're so great.
Look at what you've
praise,
done.
Praise the Orange Julius.
Or even to push it further, like Karl, like if you were like, well, my wife, it's nice that my wife will thank me and praise me. But she's even greater. She does it every week for an hour at a specific time. And we always start at the same time for our praise session for my husband. And it lasts this long and it encounters this many songs. You would just be like, this is the most insane thing. What are you talking about? This is nuts. But
yeah, and every time you leave
throw it in the
house
church context, it makes totally different sense here.
Yeah. And then every time you leave the house, she calls you on the phone and you're like, hey, and she's like, thank you so much. And you're like, no, it's fine. And she's like, I wish we'd all been ready. There's no time to change our mind. That's what it's crazy. It's crazy. Like it is like the most, when we go back and think of like the most like syphilic ridden like kings of past, like Middle Ages, Dark Ages type shit. Like most of them aren't even that bad. And if your God is not better than those pieces of shit, like piece of shit.
Why do I need him? Yeah, why do I need him?
And
yeah.
I mean, I don't even need a God that's like slightly better than me. I might need a friend that's better than me, but there's it would take someone significantly better than me for me to, like, I can't even fathom a person so far above me that I would need to worship them, let alone someone who's that fallible according to their own
doctrine. We can't understand
doctrine.
God, JD. We can't understand God. His ways are beyond ours.
Yeah.
But here's my thing. That goes back to this is, again, I may just do the same segment I did for 3 again and again and again and again for the end of time, because that's another thing that relates back to that. We don't understand him. If you don't understand him, then don't talk about him. You don't get him.
Yeah. Don't make any dogmatic statements.
I read it.
About
I
him.
get it. I got it. He's an asshole.
Yeah.
If you don't get it, that's fine. You're dumb.
He writes horrible books.
Yeah, you're bad at, like, my English sometimes struggles when I get too tired, but 文学, what is that in English? Literature. Your literature is not very good. Sorry, my literature is not very good either because my English is not very good.
I'd like to learn how to say that word, that phrase.
文学 is just literature. It's just literature in Mandarin. But anyway.
Stuart,
huh?
Oh, nothing. Go ahead.
Point is that if you don't understand that someone who can't write a consistent book, who's supposed to be infallible, is not infallible, okay, you don't understand what words mean.
Right.
Fine, let's move past that. But yeah, it's definitely frustrating.
Stuart, I'm sorry for interrupting, JD. What's the exact
everyone.
title of the book for the listeners out there?
Yeah, it's the Tribulation Survival Guide: How to Stay Alive When Everything Else is Dead. And yeah, it will tell you exactly what you need to do, what you need to know, and how to survive the pending apocalypse and doom.
Yeah, it's got a Fallout, type of look to it, right? And I appreciated that. I'd love to hear some of that Fallout music in the background. That'd be great.
There's also a lot of lore, but yeah, if you like that Fallout vibe, it definitely has that, where it's just like, but it's also like, for the like small Christian in me, it's got that, like I was talking about earlier, like the beginning of each chapter has like a revelation from God, where it's just like, oh, this is like very similar to Revelations. And if you don't, you just start reading through it, and then you're just like, okay, this is how we're doing it. But then the response is not the John of like, oh, there were 10 monsters in the sky, and like there were like winged beasts with blah blah blah. It's just like, oh no, this is like how we deal with it from the modern era. And so it's I don't have the correct words for it now. I need to finish reading the whole thing, but
I saw an earlier version, and Stuart won't let me read it now.
You will have it in your inbox after we finish.
After we're done, right?
Yeah, after we're done, immediately.
I'll be pre-ordering the book.
It'll be like a thief in the night, but that quick.
This is probably the limit for comments, positive comments. What am I trying to say?
Commentary.
Anyway, probably beyond my limit of praise for Stuart, but Stuart, your writing has been so good lately, and just everything's good and resonating, and I hope the book takes off and does great things.
Thank you, dear brother.
We love you, Stewie.
My favorite thing will just be if I don't get sued. because I'm putting out fake endorsements and people, which again, that's part of the satire. They're obviously fake, and some people are just like, wait, what? Like, there was some guy was like, I did one with Rick Warren, and someone's like, wait, how did you get? And I'm just going like, come on, I can tell you the wording just for the tease, but I was just going like, sometimes I just don't know what to tell people when they, without being an asshole. It was okay. Rick Warren's endorsement is WTF. This is basically the purpose-driven apocalypse. That's my bag.
Yeah.
And that's in, and it's like with a crappy AI picture of Rick Warren on it. It's and it even says non-endorsement on the thing, even though it is small. But I'm like, obviously Rick Warren would not say that. But satire is hard for people apparently.
Yeah, it's so good.
That's the fun of satire for people like me, which is just like those kind of things I don't like really have to engage with much, because it's like a master who knows satire as well as you do. You run a fucking podcast called Snarky Faith. You understand satire. And so I appreciate a master because I also love satire. But just watching it, you just see that, because I've seen those, like a couple of those like AI kind of like posters you put out. And number one, just looking at the posters, it's like, it's good because you understand that and like how they would approach it. But then it's also just like seeing I see like comments. I'm like, why are you like, unless it's just all ha 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 ha, smiley face, crying face, then there's something wrong. And then I go in there and I'm like, what the, like, you guys are taking this seriously? And it's just, but it proves the point that we've been talking about this whole time, which is like, you guys don't understand, like, even the people that you claim to like be your leaders or whatever, like, you don't even understand them.
Yeah.
So I have a friend.
But at least we get to it right.
That's all we can do. I want to, and okay, fine. Then this is accountability. Like my wife has made me like, she's like, no, you can't do this one, and she's told me no to several. But one of these, she's like, this one's just too mean. But I'll just put it on. We can debut this here vocally.
Okay.
This was John MacArthur. I haven't put this one out yet.
Oh my God.
If I'd read this book sooner, I would have packed differently for hell. Okay, that works then. Okay, yes, okay.
Put it in.
That was my litmus test right there.
She'll forgive you.
Here's the thing. If you, hopefully she doesn't listen to this. She probably won't anyway. But anyway, if you want it to, just send it to me. And this is what I tell my students all the time. Just send it to me. I'll post it, and then I'll take the responsibility for it. Because what am I going to get in trouble? Is she going to come to Taiwan and beat me up? If she does, she'll bring you, and you'll get a free vacation. I'll blame JD on it. Good for you.
And you'll have the best
time.
The
heat for that. That's good. That's worth me taking the heat from it.
Okay. Yeah.
So we're really looking forward to that. I think,
I'm excited. Yeah. Thanks you guys for giving me time and praise and all those things that I don't receive very well. But
I think
I'll take it.
You familiar with the Wittenberg door? Mm-hmm. Used to be kind of a satire place. It's diminished.
Explain it for people who don't know.
The Wittenberg door?
It's a door.
Maybe we have people who aren't like listeners or like don't have.
It was like the Onion.
I don't know if I can explain it. Great. The Wittenberg door wasn't where Luther posted his.
Oh yeah,
right.
He also. Luther also probably didn't propose his 99 thesis on the door of that church, by the way.
But that's the narrative. Mm. So Wittenberg door was a satire site, and during the emergent church and so on, it was really big. It's the way they poked back at that and satire person.
For anyone that doesn't know, Wittenberg door is basically like a Christian satire outlet, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Good.
Just let people know, but.
Stuart's going to take over.
Yeah. I don't need more John. I'm writing for enough, but yeah.
I'm still in about halfway through, but I need to keep reading more. I'm very excited to read more because two of my favorite things: satire, Revelations,
and Stuart.
Chef Kiss.
And Stuart Delony.
I said two of my favorite things, not my favorite thing. Okay.
Yeah. Oh.
I know.
To pledge your allegiance and devotion to him.
That's right.
Now
Kiss the
ring.
Forevermore.
Kiss the ring.
Yeah, we will all bow down to you from now on, Stuart. So
Good job, Stuart. We're looking forward to it coming out.
Excellent.
But don't fuck anything up because you're our new Messiah. So
Yeah.
if you mess it up,
Okay.
we will
And
burn
we
you at
want
the stake.
positions of power in this new government.
Exactly.
Let us know how. Yeah.
Long live Stuart.
Long live Stuart. All who oppose
Woo-hoo!
Stuart are our enemy.
You'll never do die in
Long live
all.
our reign of terror.